Welcome back to Unit 11, Introduction to the Theory of Production. I'm still Ndayamba Jerokara for these economic issues, economic lessons. We are together. So remember that if you have a questions, give a comment, give a question, your question is in a comment so that we may answer it. If you have a suggestion, then give us, we shall understand your comments. Now, we're gonna study Introduction to the Theory of Production, production theory, as a topic, subtopic area T2, production theory. Remember that we are on microeconomics. Now, we are going to see what is the meaning and the purpose of production, what is the levels of production, primary level of production, secondary level of production, tertiary level of production, types of production, direct production, indirect production, factors of production, land as a factors of production, capital as a factors of production, labor as a factors of production, and entrepreneurship as a factors of production. And after that, we can see unit summary and unit assessment. As an introduction of the theory of production, what is the theory of production? I mean, what is production now? Meaning and purpose of production. In a groups of five, discuss, answer the following questions. Why is Inyang Industries farmers in Rwanda? List the product from Inyang Industries. Discuss why Inyang Industries was farmed. Based on the above presentation, explain the meaning of production and the purpose of production. As a discovery, you can see that Inyang Industries is very famous in Rwanda and even beyond because of its unique products. Some of those products produced by Inyang Industries are Inyang water, Inyang juice, Inyang yogurt, and Inyang milk. These industries specializes in the production of liquid product. This therefore tells us that there was need or a gap in the market for the above product. As a result, therefore, the founders of the industry met and agreed on starting up this industry to supply or provide the required product. As I recall, identify other firms or industries in Rwanda, list the product or services offered by each industry identified above. Now, what is production? As a fact, the production is the process through which resources are converted into intermediate or final goods. Kuvuga ngo ni resources bari bufata bakazikuramo final goods or intermediate goods. Final goods is those goods that reach to the stage of to be consumed. Final goods. So local production is a process through which resources are converted into intermediate or final goods. Intermediate goods are goods which can be used to produce other goods and services. Final goods are goods ready to be consumed. The main purpose of production is to satisfy the needs and wants of an individual. This is done through provision of goods and services. What is the purpose of production? The purpose of production is consumption, only that. The purpose of production in Hegway production is consumption. With the market system, farms specialize in producing particular types of capital goods and consumer goods. Their direct motivation for producing these goods is to sell them for a profit. What are the levels of production? As a discovery, after leading this activity, every product we see in the market undergoes several processes. In a sugar factory, for instance, there is a need for the raw materials, sugar cane, to be harvested first and then transported to the factory before commencing the production process. The same process applies to all other products. In all these products, production takes the following three main levels. There are many levels. Primary level of production, that's the first one. This is the first stage of level production. It is also called the extractive stage because it involves extraction of raw materials. Yes, this level involves extraction of raw materials from land of their natural location and form. Goods produced at this level are called primary goods. For instance, this is agriculture, farmer harvesting maize, farming is an example of primary level of production. Now, secondary level of production. This is the second stage of level production. It involves the use of primary goods or raw materials obtained from primary production to make other goods. Kuvuga ngo barafata bya bicuruzwa byo ku isoko bari byo mu buhinzi bari gusarura bagende banyuze mu ruganda bahinduremo ibindi runaka. Icyo gihe byanga byakunda ibaraba ari secondary level of production. So the process of converting raw materials into other goods is called the manufacturing. Thus, secondary industries are also known as manufacturing industries or processing industries. Goods produced at this level are called manufactured or processed goods. Examples hari examples nyinshi zigiye zitandukanye zikomoka muri ibi bintu. Urugero, conversion of cotton or wool into cloth. Gafata cotton bakayihinduramo imyenda. Conversion of sugarcane into sugar, bagafata ibisheke bakabihinduramo isukari. Bagafata ibiti cyangwa se wood bakabihinduramo impapuro. Refining petroleum or crude oil into petrol, paraffin, and diesel. Processing milk to obtain butter. Bagafata mata bakahinduramo butter, bakahinduramo ghee and yogurt. Processing fruits to obtain fruit juice and canned fruits. Yeah, this is an example. Tertiary level of production, the third one. This is the third and final stage of level production. The main focus at this level is the production and the provision of services. These services can be categorized into commercial and direct services. Commercial services, there are activities related to trade and the services to support the trade. Trade involves distribution and sales of goods. Examples of commercial services that support it include banking, transport, insurance, mail services, and communications. While direct services are services provided or offered by professionals. Examples include medical services, teaching, legal services, entertainment, security services, and hairdressing. Those are direct services. What are the types of production? Read this carefully, activity 11.1, and you understand the types of production. So what are the types of production? We have two types of production: direct production and indirect production. Direct production is this is the production of goods and services for one's own consumption. It is also known as subsistence production. It entails production wholly in mainly for home consumption. Ni kuvuga ngo ni production ibaho y'ibicuruzwa ya goods and services ariko bagamije kubirya gusa, atari kuvuga ngo barajyana ku isoko. Niyo bita direct production. No characteristics zayo cyangwa se bibiranga. All activities in production are carried out by oneself or with the help of family members, friends, or relatives. So quality of goods produced may be poor if the person is unskilled. Since the goods are produced when needed, the skills used may not be improved. Tools used are simple. Rate of production is low since there is no competition. The quality of goods produced may be poor, leading to poor standards of living. Trade is not encouraged since production is for home consumption. Yeah. Indirect production ni tandukaniro rya direct. Indirect yo nukuvuga ngo babara producing ibintu ariko bagamije kubigurisha. The production of goods and services mainly for sale in the market. It is also known as commercial production. Noneho characteristics of indirect production, it encourages specialization, kwispecializa mu kintu runaka. It aims at producing in plenty or surplus, bajyana ibintu byinshi. It entails production for sale in the market or to customers. It enables skill development as a person gains more knowledge when doing the same activity over and over again. The rate and speed of production is faster than indirect production. It creates employment opportunities. Karim, production is normally on large scale. As I recall, what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of indirect production? So, factors of production. We have factors of production. Now, the fact that we have factors of production, there are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. But factors of production refer to all productive input used in the production of goods and services, and the major ones are capital, labor, land, and entrepreneurship. So what are the land? What is land as a factor of production? What is land as a factors of production? Land refer to all the free gifts of nature which are found on earth, beneath or above. It includes soil, forest, mountains, oceans, rivers, minerals, and air. The reward to land for its contribution in the production process is rent or rates. Characteristic of land now. Land as fixed supply. The size of land does not undergo any change. Land cannot be increased nor decreased. Land is a free gift of nature. Land is existed long before human beings came in existence. Land is permanent. Unlike other factors of production, which are perishable, land cannot be destroyed. It is non-perishable. Land is primary factor of production. Any production process starts with land. Land is immobile. Land is geographically and occupationally immobile. Land cannot move from one place to another. Land has inelastic supply. The supply of land cannot be adjusted according to its demand. Land is differentiated. Land differ in productivity. Some pieces of land are more productive than others. As a result, lands different prices. Remember, land as a natural resource is primary factor that is necessary for production to take place. That is why it should be conserved and protected using all possible measures such as mulching, afforestation, and reforestation, and intercropping to avoid soil erosion, deforestation, and land depletion. The reward for the land is rent, and depending rates, types of rent include, we have types of rent, and the rent is a reward of land. Quasi-rent, this is the payment to a factor of production that has an elastic supply in the short run and elastic supply in the long run. We have commercial rent. These refer to the payment for hiring and the use of durable assets like house. Scarcity rent. These refer to the payment to land due to an increase in its demand. Site rent. These refer to the payment to factors of production according to its location. Economic rent. This is a payment for a factor of production that is over and above its supply price. Transfer earnings. What we call transfer earnings. Transfer earnings. This is the minimum payment to a factors of production necessary to maintain its present form of employment. How rent is determined. Determinants of rent. Size of rent, rental property. That is the determinant of rent. Size of rental property. Location, demand and supply, amenities, ability, competitors, prevailing market conditions. Example of prevailing market conditions. Given that the transfer earning of factor of production is 500,000 Rwanda francs and the economic rent is as twice as its transfer earning, calculate the factors actual earning. Actual earning ni economic rent plus transfer payment. Kugira ngo ubone actual earning ni ukuri ufate economic rent plus transfer payment. Kuvuga ngo urafata 2 times 500,000 plus 500,000 Rwanda francs equal to 1 million plus 500 francs equal to 1,500,000 Rwandan. I mean 1,500,000 Rwandan francs. So that's how we calculate actual earning. Yeah, and remember that if these conditions are favorable, rent will be low, and if they are unfavorable, rent will be high according to the prevailing market conditions. Capital as factors of production. Capital as factors production. What is capital? Capital refers to all man-made resources used in the production process of goods and services. Capital can be categorized as follows: fixed capital, liquid capital, and human capital. Those are categories of capital. Fixed capital is referred to the stock of all real assets in a business. So, examples of fixed include buildings, equipment, vehicles, furniture, and fitting. Fixed capital is also called fixed assets. While liquid capital is referred to the capital of business, which is in monetary form of near liquid assets like government, securities. Liquid capital can easily be turned into cash. Human capital. This is the productive qualities found in human beings that are used in the production of goods and services. So human capital therefore constitutes the skills acquired through education and training by human beings, which they use in the production of goods and services. The reward for capital is interest, whose rate depends on the demand and supply of capital. Remember that in order to get capital to start a business, it is important to think about saving part of our earnings and making proper use of our financial resources. Kugira ngo ubone igishoro byanga byakunda nuko utangira gusavinga cyangwa se ugakoresha neza umutungo w'amafaranga ufite, financial resources. Determinant of interest. Inflation is a determinant of interest. When there is inflation in the country, interest rate will be high. But when there is a deflation, interest rate will be low. The degree of risk. When the degree of risk is high, interest will also be high. But if the degree of risk is low, interest will also be low. Government monetary policy. If the monetary policy is restrictive, interest rates will be high in order to discourage money in circulation. But if it is expansionary monetary policy, interest rate will be low. Demand of credit. When the demand for credit is high, interest rate will also be high. And the demand for credit is low, interest rate will also be low. In addition, an increase in the supply of credit reduces an interest rate, while decrease in supply of credit increases interest rate. Duration of the credit. Long-term loans attract high interest, while short-term loans attract low interest. The amount of credit or loan. Big loans are charged high interest rate, while small loans are charged low interest rate. What are the role of capital in production? The following are some of the roles. Promotion of technological progress. Promotion of technological progress facilitates economic growth, promotes factor mobility, facilitates industrialization, facilitates employment creation, promote research and innovation, promotes specialization in the production process, produces quality goods and services, facilitates resources renewal, reduces dependence. That is the role of interest rate. Capital accumulation. What is capital accumulation? Capital accumulation refers to the process of increasing a country's stock of capital assets over a given period of time. Capital accumulation can either be gross capital accumulation or net capital accumulation or net investment. Gross capital accumulation refers to the total profit on capital assets. This includes the replacement of worn-out capital assets plus purchase of new capital assets that a company uses to increase its capital base. Net capital accumulation, net investment, refer to the addition to the existing volume of capital or expenditure on new assets only. So what are the determinants of capital accumulation? Why capital accumulation increase or decrease? Determination of capital accumulation. That's the meaning. The level of income in economy, political climate in the country, government policies in saving and investment, rate of capital inflows and outflows, the level of development of financial institutions, population structure in terms of growth rate and age, like old ones, young men, the size of the market, the level of entrepreneurship. Those are determinants. Read carefully the explanation. It is very easier. You will understand the meaning. What is the labor as a factors of production now? The labor as a factors of production. On daily basis, people move out and down doing something. At times, they are busy to an extent that they are not available in their offices. This is because they are working. People have different types of work. There are those who teach, cook, gather, drive, and clean our environment. From their distant duties, we have teachers, security guards, chief chefs, garden keepers, nurses, drivers, and administrators. Some of these people use more energy than others. Similarly, some of them work as they move from place to place while others are within. Now, labors refer to any physical or mental effort directed towards production of goods or services. Labor can either be skilled, semi-skilled, or unskilled. Skilled labor refer to labor that is well trained. Only that. The skilled workers are trained and achieved the relevant knowledge and skills in their specific fields. Skilled labor is the most desired labor in the economy. This is because it has practical knowledge and its productivity is high. Some examples of skilled labor include teachers, doctors, lawyers, engineers, and veterinary officers. Remember that we should educate our children to enable them be expert in their fields they would like to be in the future. Give equal education to both the boy and the girl. So remember, the Rwandan economy will be more productive when all women and men are full participants. When the needs of all groups with special needs are addressed, mainstream gender and family in planning, budgeting, and in all development programs, projects at national and local levels, reduce poverty level among men and women, and reduce gender-based violence, malnutrition, and other related conflict, and at both family and community levels. ITPRS2, Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, Minocofin, May 2013. Comprehensive sexuality education, reproductive health education. So, semi-skilled labor. Semi-skilled labor is a labor that has some little education and little working experience. In most cases, semi-skilled labor has the practical and vocational skills. Their productivity is higher than that of unskilled labor. Most of them gain knowledge and skills as they perform their duties under the guidance of their supervisors. Some of these semi-skilled laborers are carpenters, mechanics, plumbers, and artisans. Those are semi-skilled labor. C. Unskilled labor. Unskilled labor is labor in its raw form. It is labor that is not educated. It is a labor that has no practical experience in any particular job. Work done by unskilled labor need no specific skills or training. As I recall, why would unskilled labor be trained? Identify the equipment or machine that unskilled labor ought to have some knowledge before operating. The reward of labor is wage or salaries. Now, the determinant of wages, we have price levels, cost of living, demand and supply of labor, government legislation, employees' ability to pay, profit earned by the company, trade unions, education and experience, productivity of labor. You have to read those carefully. It is very cheap to read and very easier to understand. Characteristic of labor. Labor has the following characteristic. Labor is perishable. Labor cannot be separated from the owner or laborer. Labor has weak bargaining power. Labor is human. Labor supply is regressive. Labor is both the beginning and the end of production. Labor is heterogeneous. Labor is geographically and occupationally mobile. To mean that labor can easily be transferred from one occupation to another, or from one geographical location to area to another. Yeah, labor mobility. What is labor mobility now? Labor mobility is the ease with which labor can move from one occupation to another, or from one geographical area to another. The movement of labor from one occupation to another is known as occupational mobility of labor. The movement of labor between geographical areas is known as geographical mobility of labor. It should be noted that labor can move within the same occupation, either vertically or horizontally, or in different occupations. Vertically, mobility of labor is the movement of a worker from one position or job group to another, but within the same occupation. This involves change in status. It may be promotion or demotion. For instance, teachers may be promoted from being a classroom teacher to a senior teacher, a deputy, or a head teacher. So as I recall, identify reasons why a person can be demoted from current position to a lower position. So horizontal mobility is the movement of labor from one job to another at the same level in a given industry. A secretary, for instance, can be moved from finance department to the human resources department within the same firm or industry. As I recall now, identify reason why a laborer can ought to move from one job to another in a given industry. Labor efficiency. Labor efficiency is the ability of labor to produce the greatest quality and quantity of output within the shortest time possible. It is the productivity of a unity of labor per unity of time. Division of labor and specialization. So, what is the division of labor and specialization? It is true teachers in the primary school teaches more subjects than teachers in the secondary schools. So, yeah, it is very sure that specialization refer to an economic situation where a laborer concentrates in the production of one or very few commodities in a more effective and efficient way. Nukuvuga specialization ni igihe umuntu cyangwa se umukoresha yibanza ku kintu kimwe akagikora neza kuruta ikindi. That is what we call specialization. Adam Smith's law of specialization. Adam Smith's law of specialization suggested that the bigger the market, the higher the level of specialization. The bigger the market, the higher the level of specialization. It also stated that specialization leads to the greatest improvement in the productive powers of labor and its productivity, since each worker gains expertise by repeating the same task, and that saves time. What is the division of labor? Division of labor is a situation where the production process is divided into a series of repetitive tasks. Vuga ngo ngiye bafata abaleba cyangwa se abakozi bakabagabanya inshingano muri business runaka. Each worker is responsible for a particular task where he or she can perform better. Buri muntu akafata inshingano agomba gukora neza. Forms of specialization. With the specialization by craft. Forms of specialization. Specialization by craft. This is a form of specialization where particular groups of people concentrate on a particular craft or activities. Specialization by process. This is a form of specialization where different people specialize at different stages in producing a particular commodity in the production process. Regional specialization. Nizo dufite muri specialization by process. Regional specialization. This is where different regions specialize in what they can produce most efficiently and exchange it with the other regions. International specialization. This is where different countries specialize in the production of the different commodities where they incur the least opportunity cost, which enable them to participate in the international trade. We shall see them in Senior 5 about international trade. Advantages of specialization and the division of labor. It increases efficiency and the stability of labor. It saves time. It increases production. Specialization leads to creation of more employment opportunities. Specialization leads to production of better quality goods and services. Specialization promotes commercial production. It minimizes cost and time. What are the disadvantages of specialization and division of labor? It leads to monotony, and boredom. Performing the same task all the time makes the work monotonous and boring. Bituma abantu barambirwa gukora inshingano imwe abakozi. Division of labor increases industrial interdependence. These result into delays in production. So, over-specialization increases the risk of unemployment in case a specialized worker is laid off. There is loss of creativity and responsibility. It can result into the rise of monopoly. It reduces mobility of labor. Specialization leads to loss of craftsmanship. There is possibility of overproductions. Entrepreneurship as a factors of production. What is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneur is a person who organizes and coordinates other factors of production to produce goods and services. An entrepreneur hires labor and land and looks for capital. So the entrepreneur then combines these factors in appropriate proportions to produce goods and services. The entrepreneur is rewarded profit for his contribution in the production process. What is the determinant of profit? We have a nature of competition. The nature of competition may change profit, whether rise or decrease. Price level. When the price for farm's product is high, the farm will earn high profit. It is very easy. Cost of production. If a farm cost of production is high, its profit will be low. But the cost of production is low, profit will be high. Cost is low, profit is very high. Size of the market. When the size of the market for farm's product is big, its sales will be high, and there its profit will also be high, and vice versa. The level of taxes. High taxes on profit reduce the farm's profit, while lower taxes on profit increases the farm's profit. So, characteristic of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur has the following characteristic. Initiative. Does things before asked for a forced to buy events. Characteristic. Initiative. Perceives opportunities. Persistence. Gathers information. Problem solving. Self-confidence. Self-critical. Persuasive. Assertive. Risk taker. All those characteristics found in entrepreneurship, those are the characteristics of entrepreneur. So, functions of an entrepreneur. What are the functions of an entrepreneur? Organizes other factors of production, undertake risks and bear the burden of uncertainties of the business, coordinates other factors of production, is a decision maker, directs the development of the enterprise, is an initiator, is an innovator. All those are the role or the functions of an entrepreneur. What are the barriers to an entrepreneurship development? Poor entrepreneurship skills, lack of business and technical skills, lack of mobility and exposure, lack of business ethics, career dependence, lack of role model in entrepreneurship, inadequate finance, low purchasing power. All those are the barriers to an entrepreneurship development. If you read it carefully, you will find it the meaning, the real meaning, the deep meaning of the barriers to entrepreneurship development. So as a unit summary now, we have seen about the production, we have seen the types of production, we have seen the level of stage of production, we have seen about the factors of production, we have seen specialization, advantages of division of labor, disadvantages of division of labor, the role of capital accumulation. And as a unit assessment, define the term production explain the advantage of division of labor in the production process, what are the functions of an entrepreneur as a factor of production, what are the barriers to entrepreneurship development in Rwanda, state the factors of production and indicate their rewards in the production process, explain the factors that influence the level of capital accumulation in any economy. Thank you very much for studying, for learning these courses. I'm sure that if you at the end of this unit, you can only be able to analyze about the production process or production theory and explain to another one. So remember to share, remember to give a comment, and remember to subscribe so that you may follow each video that we upload on this YouTube channel called Ukuri. Thank you very much. I was your teacher, Ukuri2020. We shall be together on the another unit.